great. All right, bear with me. I hope this isn't too long and boring. Tried to keep it succinct here. So on July 4th, 2003, it rained in Strasbourg, France. Now, I know that because I was working as an intern at the EU Parliament that summer, analyzing a proposed constitution intended to replace the EU's system of treaties. Now, I know I'm talking about the EU. Just bear with me, okay? Ultimately, that document, which was a noble effort that grew into a novel-length maze of definitions, specifics, and exceptions, it failed. But on July 4th, 2003, that failure was almost 2 years in the future, and my sister and I, who was also an intern at the Parliament, we were there in Strasbourg. We celebrated that sodden day by going to the U.S. consulate, which hosted a party to commemorate not only Independence Day, but the 200th anniversary of the Louisiana Purchase, which was when the fledgling United States acquired from France land that became Louisiana. It's amazing. Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas, Colorado, Wyoming, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, South Dakota, North Dakota, and Montana. We dressed in our nicest business casual clothes and walked through the consulate doors into a wet and drippy garden where a Zydeco band hiding under a canopy played Don't Mess With My Toot Toot, my favorite Zydeco song. We wandered to the refreshment table and enjoyed small bowls of pre-portioned jambalaya and gumbo. We ate our food, walked around the squelching garden for a few minutes, and then we slipped out. That celebration was a far cry from the flip-flops, Old Navy t-shirts, parades, hamburgers, hot air balloons, fireworks, concerts, and carnivals that accompany 4th of July celebrations here in Utah. But that celebration and its lukewarm Cajun food stand out in my memory for at least two reasons. First, I was there because the EU was trying to do something uncommon in human history, establish a federal-style constitution. And watching their efforts deepened my gratitude for the events of 1787, when a group of inspired, wise, opinionated, passionate, sometimes fractious, and disparate group of men who, by the way, had a history of open and violent rebellion when they didn't get exactly what they wanted when it came to government, got together in a hot, stuffy room in Philadelphia and put differences aside to somehow produce an imperfect but perfectible miracle, the U.S. Constitution, which, aside from the Constitution of San Marino, which was signed in 1600, is the oldest national constitution in world history. Now, if I had to highlight one of the Constitution's strengths, I'd likely point to its generality. Unlike the failed EU Constitution, the U.S. Constitution is short. You could probably read the whole thing, amendments and all, in 20 minutes. It and its amendments address core concerns, create fundamental governmental bodies, divide powers between those bodies to ensure that power never becomes centralized, and protect specific natural rights from governmental action. But there is more that it doesn't cover, so much more. It doesn't address every possible conflict or concern. John Adams said that our Constitution is designed only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate for any other. In other words, the Constitution trusts we the people to figure out the details of self-governance and how to live together as one nation, relying on our personal morality, faith, and goodness. Which brings me to the second thing I learned from my soggy Strasbourg jambalaya. Our country's heart and soul is the mix of people who live in it. The United States is an ongoing social experiment. Can a group of strangers with diverse and sometimes conflicting backgrounds come together, adopt a unifying philosophy, and move toward a more perfect union, regardless of history, religion or lack thereof, economic differences, nationality, race, ethnicity, or any other category, and become one country of individuals, e pluribus unum, out of many, one. Now, Cajun food, in my mind, is a great metaphor of e pluribus unum. It's a medley of African, French, and Native American traditions funneled through Canada, the Bayou, and through everyone from enslaved people to highfalutin snobs. But Cajun food is nevertheless its own cuisine and is uniquely American. That cultural melange has become a source of joy and unity for all who taste it. It brings together people from all walks of life, including the descendants of those who enslaved and those who were enslaved. And in Utah, Boston, or Wichita, where hot dogs, corn on the cob, cheesesteaks, funeral potatoes, and Jell-O salad rule the day, we can enjoy Cajun food and be proud it is part of the United States smorgasbord. Plus, it's truly amazing that we don't have to show our passports if we want to go on a food tour of New Orleans or Mobile. A jambalaya of unified individuals is what the U.S. and its flag represent at their best. The flag represents open arms to all who are willing to adhere to the United States founding philosophy and in good faith and without compulsion do the never-ending, hard, and self-sacrificial work of coming together, whether rich or poor, powerful or weak, established or marginalized, healthy or sick, old or young, ambitious or timid, blessed or wretched. Though people and groups across the political spectrum may co-opt the flag for political hobbies or denigrate its symbolism because our country is, admittedly, a human endeavor and therefore imperfect, I hope and pray that we do not cast aside what it represents out of cynicism, frustration, or fatalism. Inscribed on a bronze plaque on the Statue of Liberty's pedestal is the poem The New Colossus. Written by Emma Lazarus, a poet born in New York City in 1848, who spent her life advocating for Jewish causes, this poem encapsulates what I hope and pray the United States will always be, and what we will recommit ourselves to maintain: a land of liberty, refuge, and service, devoid of nationalism or ruinous pride, inspired by a quiet, faithful, and humble patriotism. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Happy Independence Day, and may God bless America.